Welcome to Soul Stories, where every tale touches the heart, inspires the mind, and stays with the soul. Lena hurried through the bustling grocery store, her basket balanced on her hip as she checked the time on her phone. She had only planned to grab a few essentials: pasta sauce, a loaf of bread, but the quick errand had taken longer than she expected. With an exam to study for and dinner to cook, she was anxious to get home. As she entered the checkout line, she found herself behind an elderly man with a neatly pressed coat and a gentle stoop in his posture. He placed his small assortment of items on the conveyor belt: a carton of milk, a loaf of whole grain bread, a jar of honey, some tea, and a pack of oatmeal. Simple things. Centos. The cashier read out the total. "That'll be $42.17. The old man nodded politely and began patting his coat pockets. First one side, then the other, then the pockets of his trousers. His movements grew increasingly frantic, though he tried to hide it behind a forced smile. "Oh dear," murmured his voice, trembling almost imperceptibly. His fingers searched again, slower this time, as if hoping the missing wallet would magically appear. The cashier waited with the dull impatience of someone who'd seen this kind of moment too many times. The line behind them shuffled. Someone sighed. Another checked their watch loudly, making sure the old man heard. Finally. The elderly man lowered his hands and gave a small, defeated nod. His cheeks flushed a dusty pink as he leaned in and whispered, I'm afraid I might have left my wallet at home. I'm terribly sorry." The cashier exhaled sharply. "Do you want me to void the items?" The old man hesitated, eyes falling to the food things he clearly needed. "If you must," he said softly. Before she could even think it through, Lena stepped forward. "It's okay," she said, her voice warm and steady. "I've got it." The man turned toward her, startled. For a moment, he simply stared, his cloudy blue eyes widening, shimmering. "My dear, no, I couldn't possibly." "It's really fine," Lena insisted, offering him a reassuring smile. "It's just groceries." The old man blinked, rapidly, struggling to compose himself. You're very kind," he whispered. "I don't know how to thank you." "Don't worry about it," she said. "Just pay it forward someday." The cashier rang up the purchase, bagged the items, and handed them to the elderly man. He held the bag to his chest like something priceless. He didn't offer his name, didn't explain anything. He simply bowed his head to her deep, walked slowly out of the store. Lena watched him go, unaware that her small gesture had set something far bigger in motion. That evening, the sky had already darkened into a deep, velvety blue when Lena began setting the table for dinner. The house was quiet except for the soft hum of the oven and the occasional clink of plates as she arranged them neatly on the table. She tried to relax after a long day, but the moment at the grocery store replayed in her mind those grateful eyes, the old man's trembling voice, the weight of his unspoken story. She was about to reach for a set of forks when a low rumble drifted through the window. At first, she brushed it off, maybe a neighbor packing, or a delivery truck turning around. But then the sound grew louder, deeper, closer. It wasn't one engine, it was several. Curious, Lena walked toward the front window. As she pulled the curtain aside, her breath caught in her throat. 3 massive black SUVs rolled slowly to a stop right in front of her house, their engines growling like something alive. Sleek, polished, almost militaristic, they looked wildly out of place in her quiet suburban street. Her heart thudded painfully in her chest. What on earth? The vehicles didn't move for a second. Then, all at once, the doors opened. In perfect sync, click, 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 and several men stepped out. They were dressed in dark suits, crisp and immaculate, with earpieces tucked behind their ears. Even from inside, Lena could see that calm precision, the way they scanned the surroundings, assessing, observing, guarding. This wasn't a random visit. This was coordinated. Her pulse spiked. She instinctively backed away from the window. A tall man, broader than the rest and wearing a long black coat, broke formation. He walked up the path to her front door with steady, purposeful steps. Not hurried, not aggressive, just deliberate. As he reached her porch, he paused for a brief moment, as if giving her time to prepare, though it didn't help. Then came the knock. 3 firm, unhurried knocks. The sound echoed through the house like a command. Lena froze. Her mind raced through 1,000 possibilities, none of which made sense. Had she done something wrong? Was this some strange misunderstanding? The memory of the elderly man flashed through her mind again, but she shook her head. There was no way her small act of kindness had anything to do with this. Right? Another knock followed, slightly louder than the first. She swallowed hard, wiped her damp palms on her jeans, and forced herself to step toward the door. Whatever this was, whoever they were, she had no choice but to face it. With her heart hammering, she reached for the handle.
"It's going to be okay. Let's go inside."
When Lena finally pulled the door open, the cold evening air rushed in, carrying with it a strange stillness. The tall man in the black coat straightened, stepped slightly to the side, and with a subtle gesture, the men behind him parted like a curtain. And there he was. The elderly man from the grocery store, except now he looked like an entirely different person. Gone was the modest coat and the hesitance in his posture. He stood tall, dressed in an impeccably tailored suit, his silver hair brushed neatly back, a soft glow from the porch light catching the polished cufflinks on his sleeves. Flanking him were two security guards who looked like they could stop traffic with a look. Yet despite the imposing scene, the old man's expression was gentle, warm, familiar. Miss Lena, he said, his voice no longer trembling or uncertain, but steady and dignified. I wanted to thank you properly. Lena blinked at him, speechless. She glanced at the line of SUVs, the men in suits, the guarded stances, and then back at him. The contrast between the man she helped earlier and the one standing before her now was almost surreal. The security men gave her a respectful nod, acknowledging her in a way that made her feel both important and very, very confused. She stepped back instinctively. I don't understand. What is all this? The elderly man smiled a small, sincere smile that softened his entire face. Allow me to introduce myself properly, he said. My name is William Hawthorne. Lena's eyes widened. The name sounded familiar, though she couldn't place it. She had heard it somewhere on the news, maybe, or in one of her economics classes, but her mind was spinning too fast to pinpoint the memory. My family, Hawthorne continued, folding his hands in front of him, has long valued privacy. We avoid the spotlight whenever possible, which is why you didn't recognize me earlier, and why I didn't offer my name. The men around him stood in silent formation, still, disciplined, alert. Hawthorne took a single step closer, his expression softening even more. With your kindness today, it meant more than you could possibly know. You didn't hesitate. You didn't judge. You simply helped. Lena swallowed, feeling strangely self-conscious. It was just groceries, she murmured. Anyone would have No, Hawthorne interrupted gently, shaking his head. Not anyone. Many people would have ignored an old man fumbling through his pockets. Others would have sighed impatiently or turned away. But you, he paused, studying her with eyes that suddenly seemed far younger than his age. You acted with compassion. Lena felt her cheeks warm, unsure how to respond. The old man straightened slightly, his demeanor shifting into something almost regal. And kindness, he said softly, deserves to be acknowledged. Before she could speak, he glanced toward one of his men, who nodded and stepped toward the SUVs ready to bring forward whatever surprise Hawthorne had planned. Lena's heart pounded. Whatever this was, it was far bigger than groceries. Lena stood frozen in the doorway, still trying to understand why a man with security guards and black SUVs was standing on her porch. William Hawthorne gave her a soft, reassuring nod, then reached into the inside pocket of his suit jacket. I didn't come empty-handed, he said. He drew out a long, cream-colored envelope, thick, elegant, sealed with a gold emblem she didn't recognize. He held it out to her with both hands, as though it was something fragile and precious. With trembling fingers, Lena accepted it. The paper felt heavier than any envelope she had ever held. She hesitated, but Hawthorne nodded encouragingly. Go on, he said, voice warm. Open it. Lena slid her thumb beneath the seal and cracked it open. Inside was a single sheet of parchment-like paper. At first, she only saw the university's crest at the top, the crest she had stared at countless times online while daydreaming about her future. The university she had wanted to attend since she was 12. The one she knew her family couldn't afford. No matter how many part-time jobs she worked, her breath hitched. Full scholarship. Award recipient, Lena Harper for years. Tuition, housing, meals, books paid in full. Her vision blurred for a moment. Her throat tightened. She read the words again and again, each time feeling her knees grow weaker. I don't understand, she whispered. Hawthorne stepped closer, laying a gentle hand on her shoulder. You didn't hesitate to help a stranger, he said softly. You didn't do it for recognition. You didn't do it expecting anything in return. That kind of heart is rare. Lena swallowed hard, overwhelmed. But this is too much. On the contrary, Hawthorne replied, his eyes twinkling with warmth. It is not nearly enough. What you gave me today was dignity. You treated me like a human being, not an inconvenience. And that, he exhaled deeply, meant more to me than you could ever know. He straightened, offering her a small, affectionate smile. Besides, he added lightly, next time at least let me pay for my own groceries. Despite the shock swirling through her, Lena let out a small, breathless laugh. Hawthorne signaled his men. Instantly, the suited guards shifted into motion with the same calm efficiency they had arrived with. One by one, they opened the SUV doors. Hawthorne gave her a final nod. Make the most of your future, Miss Lena. You've earned it. Asterisk, and with that, he turned and stepped into the middle SUV. The engines rumbled back to life, headlights cutting through the darkness. The convoy pulled away smoothly, disappearing down the street until the night fell silent again. Asterisk, Lena stood alone on her porch, the envelope pressed to her chest, the scholarship letter trembling in her hands. Her world had been the same just hours ago now. The future stretched wide open before her, brighter than she had ever dared to imagine.